Good morning to you, our audience. Ted and Ed TV channel welcome each of you to our weekly Saturday broadcast where we give insightful views on economic, political, world, and environmental issues concerning how money connects those matters. Our hosts, Mr. Ted Harvey Sr. and Mr. Edward Bishop III, are now taking each of you into our world of money and its value, along with the evils that come from the greed of hoarding financial power. He that controls the gold controls the important decisions in this world.
Good morning, Ed. How are you?
Oh, good morning, Ted. And how are you doing?
Doing good, doing great, man. You know, we want to welcome our audience, man, on the Ted and Ed Money Connection. We got a lot of hot topics today. You know, we know it's just past Thanksgiving Day. We got a lot of things to be thankful for. However, we still got to go on and inform the people and then just sort of kind of chit-chat what's going on in the country, what's going on in the world, and most important, what is going on with our people here in the United States. One of the hot topics, Ed, you know, that's been going on, you know, of course, taxes. And that's going to hurt a lot of people, a lot of people.
Oh man, Ted, I just have to laugh when I think that we have our president and the leaders and stuff in Congress, Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan, who under the guise of giving middle class people a tax cut, are actually not telling people that they're doing this, and it's not happening. And if you look at the proposal that they have out there, there is nothing near giving the middle class anything at all. It reminds me of when President Bush came in, and that one year, I forget what year it was, but he had brought forth, we're going to have a big tax cut. And he turned around and said, I'm going to give every American $600. Gave us, everybody got a check for $600.
That was
and we just gulped it up. It's, oh man, we got $600 coming. And the people who were actually getting all the money and everything, they were looking at us like we were fools. You know, they were throwing these little scraps out there into the chicken yard where the chickens are at and everything, and say, "You chickens sit out there, and we're gonna give you all the scraps and stuff," while we're sitting up in here eating prime rib and all this other stuff, and getting these big palatial palaces and big cars and stuff and everything, and putting all that money
private jets,
private jets and everything and stuff. So it's the same thing, I guess, is going on now. But Trump is instead of him talking about $600 and stuff, he's telling everybody that you guys are going to be getting almost $5,000 to $11,000 in your all's pocket, which is, I'm looking at this stuff and I'm seeing people sitting there and watching him in the audience. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And they're clapping. Oh yeah, Trump's gonna give us $5,000. When they get it, if they pass this tax cut, I want to know about it, because I know nobody's going to get no $5,000 back because most of that money is going into Trump and his 1% friends' pockets. That's it. And like I said, getting back to what I was talking about Trump and how they are trying to tell people that this is a tax cut for the middle class, it is not true. And if the people out there believe that, I'm going to sell them the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah, because when you think about it, if you look at their breakdown, you know, 10,000 to 75,000, those people are not going to get a whole lot of, you know, they might get a couple $100 here and there, $300 or whatever, but they can really cut out a whole lot of things for people to write off, or even the child deduction type things. Those things have been cut back dramatically. So the thing is that it's a game, man. You know, he has snookered the people, and thinking that and he's raised up prices as far as what I should say, his budget. He has raised up his budget, and he's cutting a lot of things that are just unbelievable. I was just reading in the AP the other day about he's talking about going to cut welfare like he's following the Bill Clinton's playbook. And I was just saying to myself, I said, why is he doing that? Because number one, this is what he's going to do. This is what he said. This is a quote from him. He said, this was in October, becoming a very, very big subject. He said, welfare is becoming a very, very big subject, and people are taking advantage of the system. So his administration, his director of budget and all of those types of people, they're looking into cutting it, and it's going to happen. And he claims that he's going to start doing it in March, and they're working on the plan right now and 2018 budget proposal to cut food stamps, student loans, and Medicaid. Now, how much he's going to cut, we don't know yet. But the point is, it's going to really hurt. Now, why would you cut the benefits for student loans? I don't get that. I don't get it. Food stamps, I can see maybe a little bit, and then Medicaid, that's going to hurt a whole lot of people.
Ted, my take on this is that if you listen to 45, he'll go to bed one night and he'll wake up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning with some grandiose idea in his head, and he'll tweet it, and then he'll tell his people this is what he wants to get done. And we have to realize that so far in his administration, since the Republicans have had both houses of Congress and he has been at White House, that there have been no major legislation passed in this country. And he can say whatever he wants to say, but until he can get that stuff through Congress and get that stuff done, all that stuff is just pipe dreaming. That is in his mind somewhere, and it's not there. Because why would you even talk about welfare and doing this in March when you haven't even passed this grandiose idea of a tax cut? And from the way it looks, it may not get passed by Christmas, as he's saying. Yeah, we're not going to get no Christmas present. He's already got Republicans and stuff who are in the Senate who are against it. All they need is 3 people to vote against it.
There's 5 of them right now that's questionable.
It is toast, I'm telling you. So if you haven't even passed your first legislative victory, because healthcare went through the same thing, and then all of a sudden they're dumping healthcare issues and stuff into this tax cut plan, which is just all this dirt that they're dumping into this tax cut. It is creating a problem and stuff for them trying to get it passed through Congress. And if you can't get it passed through Congress, he ain't going to get it on his desk. So now for him to even be talking about cutting welfare, and he hasn't even taken care of his other project that he's got on the table, which is a mouthful for anybody. It is just unbelievable that he would even think about doing this and stuff. And that's why he is never going to get anything enacted. He's almost like a kid running around there talking about, okay, I want a bike here for Christmas, or I want a razor. These things you walk around, it's automatically done around there, but he hasn't even got his bike yet. Now he's talking about a razor, or he's talking about getting a $1,000 iPhone, and he hasn't even got all the other 2 things he's talking about doing. So you keep bringing this stuff up. You have to accomplish something first. And he's telling people, I've accomplished this. We've accomplished more things than any president that is. In his mind, he has done that. In his mind,
Well,
So
talking about his mind, though, the thing is, in his mind, he doesn't even know what's going on when it comes to the FCC, the plan to end net neutrality. He don't even understand that, and he just want to he's telling his FCC chairman to get rid of it, and what have you, which is going to stop a lot of people as far as having access to the internet. He doesn't want to. He wants to control that. What it looks like.
I don't think Trump even realizes what he's talking about. And every day that goes by, it's becoming obvious to me, and I know a lot of other people out there, it's got it becoming obvious to them that this man is irresponsible. He has no idea what he is talking about. The gentleman that he has got as the chairman and stuff of the FCC now is a Republican person and stuff and everything. And he believes in cutting these rules and stuff down and this net neutrality and stuff down. But they have no idea what is going on out there in the internet.
Yep.
What is happening and stuff out there and how people are doing what they're doing. Okay. When this thing first came out, when the other FCC chairman was in charge, you had a bunch of Democrats, you had a bunch of these computer geeks out there, Alphabet, which is Google's parent company and stuff. Now, all the other internet companies out there were fighting this daggone thing so hard, tooth and nail, to get net neutrality and everything and stuff done. They got it through. Now, this guy comes along and he wants to change all the rules back to where they was before and how they get it done. But if you notice, you haven't heard a big outcry like you did when they first started doing that during Obama's administration. There wasn't a big outcry. You don't see a lot of them. They are quietly sitting in the background telling them, don't do this, don't do this, don't do that. So I say this to all the people out there who are dealing with, who are concerned about net neutrality. I wouldn't worry about it right now until we finally find out what they're going to enact, because what they're trying to do is not going to work.
Okay, well, we'll see. Now, one of the things that's going on right now, as we speak, Christmas holidays.
Oh,
and we just had what they call Black Friday.
Oh yeah.
And now here's the deal. They were saying that they had went up online Black Friday increase a percentage of something like 14%. They had already made over $100 billion just online. But here's the tip. The thing is that do you realize on the holiday, Christmas holiday, for Christmas, there is going to be over $1 trillion spent. $1 trillion spent. Do I need to say that again? That's a lot of money coming out of all these households. People spending, they say the average is something like almost pretty close to about $1,000 per household, per person. So that's a lot of money. People out there are spending money like crazy.
They are, and there are a lot of people out there who are getting rich, as we know that Amazon and stuff have gotten so much money and stuff now, because what's going on now is that most people are, instead of going out to these physical stores, they are buying things online, and most people are buying them through Amazon. And the CEO of Amazon is Jeff Bezos. Well, poor Jeff just went over $100 billion in income. He's worth $100 billion.
100 billion.
One man, Jeff Bezos, is worth $100 billion.
So now we have 3 people right now in America. I mean, they're not, they've given a lot of their money away. We're talking about the guy that runs Microsoft, or used to run Microsoft, Bill Gates,
Bill Gates and his
and
wife.
then Warren Buffett. They're
Yep.
both pretty close to that
Yeah,
100 billion.
absolutely.
And that's three people that probably got more money than
And
half the population in America.
of some countries out there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
A
There's no
country, a
question
whole
about that.
country, an entire country, and maybe 2 or 3 third world countries, they have more money than they do. But you getting back to the Black Friday and how people are spending money and stuff out there, there are good things about it and there are bad things about it. The bad thing is that a lot of these people are going in debt for these $1,000 or whatever it is that they're talking about doing. But they're also putting money and stuff back into the economy. When you buy something from Amazon, it triggers a whole lot of things. The person and stuff who was supplying the product, they're going to get money into their pockets and stuff for doing that. Then you have to get them the products and stuff and everything to the consumer. So you've got people out there in transportation, their trucking company, all those folks and stuff.
Stocks
And
people and all that.
Yeah. And then you're turning around there and all this transaction and stuff and everything is going through a network of computers, which is involved with the internet. When you're getting back to that net neutrality thing and stuff that we were talking about, all these things are going through this. So that means that the people out there who are controlling the credit card, they're making money. The credit card companies are making money. Their people are making money. The computer industry are making money. And then also you're putting money in Jeff Bezos' pocket and you're also getting the product and stuff. Somebody has to put that packaging and stuff on someone's door. And speaking of packaging, someone has to package up there. So you got to pay them to do that. So you have a whole industry and stuff out there, groups of industries and stuff out there who are making money because people out there are going in debt. But
because we're consuming.
Getting back to the bad part about that whole thing is that the debt and stuff in this country is going to become to a point to where it is going to be unsustainable, because eventually you're going to start having inflation taking over if we are not very, very careful. They've already getting rid of our Federal Reserve chairmen and all this other stuff, and dealing with the folks and stuff out there who are in charge of getting these banks their monies and stuff and everything so they can have credit and stuff going on. So, and the stock market is going up real high because all the billionaires are making money and stuff out there. So eventually something's going to break. And we're looking at a 2008 crisis and stuff and everything that may be even bigger than it was in 2008. We don't know.
Well, the thing is, we don't know where they're going to call that debt from. Mm-hmm. Right now, they did, when they did the scam on the housing market, mm-hmm. they had a sector that they can attack and sort of bring down low. Mm-hmm. The market itself is pretty stable at right around 18, I would say 18,000. So it can drop down back to 18,000. Mm-hmm. But that's not going to happen for a while, because number one, what they're going to do is they're going to repatriate. Even though a lot of these people have snuck their money, and all these corporations stuck billions of dollars behind the underground back into their corporates, what into their business. They've been buying shares and buying shares. That's all they've been doing, is buying their own shares. So, and that brings up obviously their thing to go up. So I think what's going to happen is that some of these banks, some of these major corporations, they owe a lot of money, because they're not really making a lot of profit. Some of them, a lot of them are not making a lot of profit. Their shares are, but they're not making a lot of profit. And the people that's responsible for all of these loans and that's providing these loans is WTO, the World Trade Organization, the IMF, the International Money Fund, and the World Bank. These people are able to loan out money to different countries, different organizations, all kinds of businesses, and it was a way for them. They put these three organizations together, and what happens is different countries put in certain money into, something like the IMF fund, and they have to pay a certain amount of money. That's what 45 was talking about. Some of these people are not paying their dues. America put in billions and billions of dollars into that fund. So right now, I think what's going to happen is that they're going to start calling these monies from these other countries, and that's going to hurt the whole market, because you got, you was talking about, you said, you got some interest in South Africa, and I was doing a little research on it. They're in debt, $2 trillion. They're in debt, $2 trillion. They owe some of these organizations that I mentioned earlier, billions and billions of dollars. So I'm saying that South Africa is done. They're pretty much done because they're in debt. How are they going? Because the resources, they don't own any resources. People coming in there taking all their resources, and that's the whole continent of Africa, really.
Well, to get back to what you were talking about, Ted, we have to realize that right now, debt is the
mother's milk.
Debt is everywhere. It's even in this country. You're talking about this tax cut. We get back to that tax cut thing and stuff. That is now, for 8 years, President Obama had to fight the Republicans because they said that we have too much debt. He brought the debt down to almost $350 billion for almost over $1 trillion in debt. And he brought it all the way down to $300 and some billion before he left office. Okay. Yeah. But now all of a sudden, less than a year after he has left office and everything, it's okay. Some of the same people who were fighting him about the debt and bringing it down, saying it's okay to have debt. And they understand that with this tax cut, that they're going to have at least $1.6 trillion debt.
Added on.
It's going to add on to what they have right now. So
over 20 trillion.
Our country and stuff, you speaking of South Africa in debt, our country's in debt. And you look at all the other countries, they are in debt and everything. China has a big debt going on. Germany is the only country that I know of right now who doesn't have a lot of debt. And they're bodes well and stuff and everything for their economy and stuff. If anything goes bad, if you've got a lot of debt going on and all of a sudden some major tragedy and stuff happen, then it just creates havoc and stuff inside your household.
And you got to borrow some more money, or you lose it.
Either you're going to borrow some more money, you're going to go bankrupt, or you're going to lose everything you got. Okay, right. So that's the name of debt and stuff that we have down there. There's bad things about debt, and there's good things about debt. How are our viewers, the low man on the totem pole down there, that those groups and stuff who are in that $15,000 to $75,000 a year range, how are they going to handle this whole thing when this thing explodes? These large corporations don't have to worry about it because they got all kind of monies and stuff that they got over there in tax havens sitting over there that they can bring back to this country. And
I say 6 trillion.
It could be more than that, and it's sitting over there in a tax haven. So if they'd have a problem because they're in debt, they just go back over there and reach into their piggy bank and pull that bag out and save themselves. We can't do that.
That's
we
right.
don't have a piggy bank. If you look back now, nobody is saving money. Everybody is in debt. In that group of middle class from that $15,000 to $75,000 range, none of them are saving money. They can't. Yeah. So if we get in trouble, what are we going to do?
As a nation right now, the thing is, this is where collaboration comes in. This is where all the organizations start coming in and realizing, because I understand that right now, they're attacking the small farmer to try to buy a lot of these small farmers out. You know, those people that's dealing organically and all of that. And the number one thing that you have to have is food. Of course, you have to have shelter, but the thing is, you have to have food. And if these big farmers all of a sudden say, okay, we're not going to grow this, we're not going to grow that, or either we're going to ship a lot of our food overseas where we can make more money, then the average person is going to be hurting because our shelves in our grocery market is going to be empty. You know, it's not going to have everything that we're accustomed to. So the thing is, it's collaboration. I mean, people are going to have to realize that we are not enemies. We are not, we have to pull together. And I think that's what we have to do as a people in this country, because what they're doing, or what the media, I would say media, and even people that's online, they're trying to divide us into different groups and what have you, but we're really all in the same pot.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they call us a melting pot.
Mm-hmm. We're all in the same pot, and you're right. And we have media out there who are trying to keep their populace informed about what's going on, because there is so many things that affect your pocketbook every day. Like we're talking about the tax cut, it affects your pocketbook. We talk about Black Friday, it's affecting your pocketbook. We're talking about debt, it's affecting your pocketbook. You talk about the WTO and IMF and the World Bank, all those things eventually, because they're way up there, they're going to eventually trickle down, and they're going to affect your pocketbook.
Absolutely.
All those are pocketbook items and stuff that we have to deal with and everything. And we are trying to let our viewers and stuff understand that if you can reduce the amount of money that you're spending for Christmas and stuff and all that in the name of satisfying your children or whatever, you're going to be better off by getting your debt down. Because if something happens, like we talked about earlier, something happens and major incident happen, you're going to be in trouble. Car breakdown, you got to pay $2,000 to $2,000 to get your car repaired because something happened that broke down. Where are you going to get this money from? You already maxed out on your credit card because you spent that money for Christmas.
Yeah. And that's the whole deal.
You don't have any savings. You don't have any savings. So we need to make sure that no matter where you're at, that you're putting some money away, or that you have some way where you can keep yourself from a disaster that's going to create a problem and stuff for you that doesn't need to happen. And like you said, we have to be a melting pot. We have to help our brothers. We have to help our sisters and stuff and everything when they're time of need. I'm in Glenwood, Illinois right now. I live in Atlanta. I'm up here in Chicago area and stuff now because my wife's cousin had major surgery and stuff and everything for cancer. So we up here helping her. She needed the help. So I'm helping out, and we all need to do that. Help out the people around us, help our family members out, help where we can out whenever we can, because this means a lot and everything at a time and stuff when when people aren't doing very well. So
absolutely, I agree with that.
Yeah. So, and then I know you talked about this welfare thing and stuff with that 45 is trying to do in March. Well, if he doesn't pass the tax cut and everything, you're right. He's going to come up there with this grandiose idea of welfare, because he's already told the people we're going to deal with welfare. We're going to deal with Medicare. He's going to cut Medicaid. Now, all of his campaign promises, Ted, that he talked about, he has got rid of them. I ain't going to bother Social Security. I'm not going to bother Medicare. I'm not going to bother Medicaid. And he's now trying. He's taking money away from all those programs.
All those programs.
Yeah.
So and we're going to have the best health system in the world.
Absolutely. And you can't believe him. You can't believe what the heck he's saying, because one minute he says one thing and next minute he says another. So he waffles back and forth. When you're doing this, when you're waffling back and forth, you don't get nothing done. You don't get a thing done. You just sitting around there going over here, creating a mess over here, creating a mess over there, and all you're doing is creating chaos and stuff all around you.
Well,
And
I
I'm pretty
know.
sure that's why he went bankrupt 7 or 8 times and everything, because he created havoc and stuff, took his little money out of there and came on and went over there and created havoc someplace else.
Absolutely. And
And so,
well, I know when you said something done, I know one person that's getting something done, and that's Mulder with Flynn, Michael Flynn. He got something going on with Michael Flynn, don't he?
well, I just heard a couple of days ago that Michael Flynn have all this Russian crisis that is going on about involving our election. Trump has tried very, very hard to tell people that there is no problem and stuff there. And you finding conservative media and stuff now are starting to attack Robert Mueller because of what he's doing. And they're using every little bit of tactic that they can to attack him. But I don't think that they realize that Robert Mueller is not the type of person and stuff and everything that you can scare off. You cannot scare him off. And he is taking himself, and he's a methodical individual. He's not like Trump. He's not crazy or stupid or whatever, falling around there or whatever. When you find a person who's methodical, who goes about their business of doing some things, they're going to accomplish some things because they don't look at all the foolery going around them. They have a vision, they have a focus, and you better look out for him, because he has now supposedly gotten Michael Flynn to start giving him information and stuff about Trump and how his organization and stuff and everything colluded with Russia. Now there are
Well, that
people
is.
out there. There are people out there and everything who don't want Trump to be hurt by this. So they are in turn trying to sit down there and throw up a smoke screen and say that what he's doing and stuff is wrong. Well, I believe that Robert Mueller is going to keep on going. He's going to get Michael Flynn. He's going to get a whole lot of other people, because you're noticing now that Trump is starting to tell his family and stuff, you all need to get the heck out of the White House and start heading back to New York to your homes here and everything, because the storm is coming. He's already told Ivanka. He's told Jared Kushner, who are supposed to be his major advisors, who were sitting there in that White House, you all need to get back to New York. So look for them after the first of the year to probably head to get out of that White House and start heading back, because Mueller is coming at them. And usually what happens and stuff, anybody who deals with trying to get things done, you attack someone at their weakest point. And Trump's Achilles heel is his children.
Yeah, that's right. And you can't blame him for that. But then he the one brought him into this mess. So
Absolutely.
that's his issue.
That's his issue.
We're gonna jump over over there. You know, we're gonna talk a little bit more about South Africa. You had some things that that's going on over there. We know they broke already, but then what in the world is happening over there now?
Man, Ted, because of what's going on in this country here, I become so enthused and stuff, and making sure that our country is taken care of, that I have kind of lost sight and stuff on South Africa, and I think a lot of other people have too, about what's going on there. You look back at all the turmoil that that country has had and everything through this one vote, one man vote, one man thing going on, and you have all those things that were happening there, and you have the African Congress who were trying to get themselves back into power and stuff, and getting those Dutch folks and stuff out of power, the white people and stuff rule, and now they can share what is going on there. So I thought, I'm pretty sure, and just like other folks and stuff thought out there and everything, that because they have shared the rule and everything, everything's going to be okay. They're going to get that country back up, and South Africa was going to be a model for the entire continent of Africa, all the other countries around there who aren't doing well and stuff, because you have black dictators and stuff who are in power in those countries, and they're ripping their people and stuff off who were there. Well, we always thought that South Africa wasn't going to do that because South Africa has a lot of natural resources. They got gold, they have diamond, they have other things and stuff down there, and that is very positive and stuff for that country. Well, it comes about that when you have natural resources like Saudi Arabia has oil, and South Africa has gold and diamonds and stuff there, natural resources that they can mine and bring out, that the crooks always find a way to come in, and like a cancer, it infiltrates the body. So they have some cancerous folks and stuff out there in the name of some three gentlemen called the Gupta brothers.
The Gupta brothers.
Gupta brothers. Well, the Gupta brothers were little, and their dad, who was a soapstone trader and of other spices and stuff that comes out of India, they were poor, and their dad did a lot of trading and stuff there. So when his sons, three of them, Ajay, Atula, and Rajas, I guess that's how you pronounce their name, he told his boys, you guys go out into the world and attain your fortune. They didn't have any money at all. He said, get out of my house, go attain your fortune. Well, two of the brothers, Ajay and Roja, went to other countries, but Atul, he went to South Africa. Atul got involved in there and started getting little small contracts and stuff with the state, putting in computers and stuff inside their state offices or whatever. He started out little bitty small office there.
So he's an IT guy?
No, he wasn't. He was not an IT guy. He was a crook. He started selling computers and everything to the government. He was going out buying these things just like some people are doing here in this country with Amazon. They're using Amazon to sell their products. Well, he using the same ideology and stuff with the African government and everything, South African government, that he can provide them with different things that anybody could provide them with, but they allowed him to do that, and they gave him contracts and stuff to do this. Well, he's fulfilled his contract, made money. So once he did that, he started getting into other parts of providing services to the South African government. And as he was doing this and everything, he kept getting richer and richer and richer and richer on these contracts that he was going out there. And as he built up his wealth and stuff in this country over the last 3 or 4 years, he has become very powerful. And he has been so successful in South Africa that he called his brothers, said, hey, fellas, what you guys doing over there in you all's country? And both of them said, well, we're doing okay, but not that well. He said, come on over, brothers. We have a gold mine here. And all the brothers came over, and they run South Africa.
They run South Africa?
Yes.
Wow.
They hire, fire, demote, and promote anything that goes on. And anyone who tries to usurp their power is automatically thrown out of the government. They own the president of South Africa right now.
Wow. They
have gotten so bad that they're starting that the international folks like the IMF and the World Bank now are starting to investigate against these guys and stuff and everything for illegal practices and stuff inside the country. So they have a lot of legal things that are going on, but during this whole time and stuff, they're still have ingratiated themselves into that economy and stuff. And I guess part of that $2 trillion that you're talking about, that they're in debt and everything, most of that money has gone to the Gupta brothers.
The Gupta brothers. Because obviously they set up a program where they had the Africa, South Africa, do all those loans and get that money or any income that comes in from South Africa. They contracted with them to make that money, and which I don't understand why you got all these people all over the country, all over the world, where you can buy products and negotiate. So somebody's pocket was getting greased, obviously. Wouldn't you just
Absolutely.
go do that?
That's how they own the president, because he has ingratiated himself and stuff to them so much that if he opens his mouth and says anything, he's going to jail. So because they got so much dirt on him that he can't say anything, he can't do anything. So anytime anybody rises up within the government who's saying that what they're doing is wrong, then they lose their job. And there have been several people and stuff who have been number 2 and number 3 there in power and stuff. They're in the government who have spoke out against the Gupta brothers and everything. And a couple of days later, a month later, the president calls them in office and said, "You fired."
Mm-hmm. And that's the way it's been.
That's the way
in
it's
the continent Africa.
In the country of Africa. Now that the crooks have came in and taken over, almost like, I guess you look at the fact of last week we talked about how Trump had ingratiated himself out there in the country and how his children have sold his brand name to the crooks of the world.
Absolutely. The crooks of the world.
The crooks of the world. He sold himself. And so it's a mess going on out there. And these people and stuff have gotten themselves rich and very powerful and stuff by doing these things. So, and then the little man always the one that winds up doing the suffering. They wind up having to pay for all that mess that's going on out there, because when if for some reason or another that these Republicans pass this tax cut, we're going to be paying for it.
Absolutely, because and I'm not for certain, but I don't think South Africa or a lot of these countries overseas, they don't have the safety net that we've had. You know, a lot of them don't have that kind of safety net. You know, like where you can get a card and you can get you some food stamps. You know, if you're hungry and need food to subsidize your income.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people don't have Medicaid where they can subsidize their income for health.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people don't have that type of thing. You know, we have subsidized housing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, look at we have Social Security.
Yeah,
you have all of those things that are the safety net to keep people off the street and be able to have a somewhat quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just reading an article because I know you was going to speak on this, and this journalist, I think it was from AP, was saying that it's a lot of boys and girls are not in school. They're going hungry all over the place. And it's just unbelievable.
Well, I have an article, and I also if our audience goes on to our Facebook page, there's a video and stuff on there about these children and stuff who are in school and everything who are going hungry, and how some of these school districts and stuff now have taken on the problems and stuff of feeding these children and everything, because if your child cannot go to school hungry and expect them to learn. So there are things going on and stuff out there, instruments that are going on out there to help children and stuff who are hungry. But that's only just a small few of the school districts and stuff out there who are doing this. There are a lot of school districts out there who have the same thing and stuff going on.
Now, wait a minute, you're talking about this country?
This country, yes.
Wow.
Absolutely. If you look on the Facebook page, you'll see. I didn't tell you about it because it was holiday, but I have an article that's coming out and stuff and everything in a few days on our blog that speaks about this, the children and stuff in this country who are going hungry, and it is unbelievable, Ted, and you audience people out there, what is going on out there, that we have so many children and stuff who are going hungry, and not only in our community and stuff, they're going on in a lot of poor white communities and stuff also. And these poor white communities now, they're finding ways and stuff to feed their children and stuff and everything, where some of the urban areas and stuff, they aren't doing that and stuff for them. So we need to make sure that we're doing something about making sure that our children and stuff can eat, because if you come to school hungry, you can't learn. And it's a bad thing. We're seeing a lot of things that are going on in this country that we used to see going on in the third world countries, and it's being hid. And another thing that's going on here, when we spoke about this thing with this children health insurance program,
Hmm.
that the Congress and stuff have not funded it yet. And so far, nobody else has talked about it or said anything about it. The only thing on their mind is a tax cut.
Yep.
Well, you got children out there who are not going to have health care at all.
Right.
Millions of children, because they have not funded this program. So far, some of the states and stuff and everything have been able to continue to have children and stuff on there. But according
The
to what
money's
I've been
gonna run out.
hearing, next month in December, a lot of these states that are going to send out letters and stuff to these parents and stuff who are on these CHIPS program that if they don't receive any funding by the end of December from the Congress, that their children are not going to have health care.
There's some cold-hearted, blooded
Cold-hearted folks out there, and we're talking about
politicians out there, man.
we're talking about these big states and stuff like
Hmm.
California, New York, Illinois. They're gonna be sending this stuff out, saying they cannot fund the CHIPS program and stuff any longer. But there are some states who can be able to hold on until March, but that's it. There are a lot of them who are going broke and everything right now. They're telling people that they can't keep their children and stuff on it. They don't have any health care coverage, and nobody cares. These are children. No health care for them. Can't go to the
Well,
hospital.
they've been talking about this for 10, 15 years now, as far as what they've been trying to do. I mean, I've been living in Central Florida for 25 years, and what we have here on radio is nothing but conservative radio. We got one independent radio station, which I listen to a couple hours a day. However, every once in a while, I listen to these so-called conservative radio stations, and they laugh and joke about it. People on food stamps, people on Medicaid, they think it's funny, and we know the reason why is because when you taking 50,000 jobs, manufacturing jobs, and they're overseas now, the jobs are not here. The only jobs that you can get is consumer jobs, shuffling paper jobs. The manufacturing jobs are not here. Those types of jobs are not available. And they took them overseas. They trained all kinds of people over there. You look at what's happening with GE right now. They're in a quagmire right now. You know why? Because they got so many companies all over the world. Their stock is going down because they were looking for innovation and they bringing in the best of people in each one of those countries, and which is good. And they're trying to be innovative, but it takes money. And GE is right now is in a quagmire. They're gonna get rid of that CEO if they haven't already, because GE is the only corporation, because they don't pay no taxes, number one. But the thing is, they're the only corporation that their stock did not go up like the rest of these stocks. Most of those stocks, like Microsoft and
Caterpillar.
Amazon, Caterpillar, they're all over 100.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, uh, I'm glad you brought that up, Ted, and everything, because I have grandchildren and stuff now who are off into college and everything, and we only have, like you said, so many manufacturing jobs and stuff left in this country, so they can't look to these companies and stuff and everything to provide them with the income that they're going to need and stuff down the road.
Absolutely.
And I try to tell them, and I'm going to be talking to them as they keep going through these years and stuff, and they get to that point to where they graduated. You are never going to get rich working for someone else,
No.
because you don't know when they are going to tell you we don't need your services and stuff anymore through nepotism or whatever, or they don't like you or whatever. So I'm
Or
telling
they
you
have a
all,
bad financial crisis, or a
absolutely,
slowdown.
and I tell all of them and stuff, create your own job. There is an industry and stuff out there, a movement and stuff going on out there to where you're having young people and stuff now who are out there creating their own jobs, creating their own startups, and they are making money and stuff doing these startups. We are going to have to be very innovative about what we do and stuff now
Absolutely.
in this economic marketplace that is going on out there. Those jobs that you were speaking of now, they are not coming back. You find up 20 years ago, all of your auto industry and stuff was in these northern states, Ohio, Michigan. All of them they were automotive powerhouses and stuff.
Yeah, people making $75,000-$100,000 a year.
Absolutely. Now, all these auto companies and stuff, Toyota, Hyundai, Nissan, they've all moved where? Into
To
the
the
South.
South.
Into the South. Because
Paying
they
half the
are able,
wages
and paying them half the wages, half the benefits, and they're employing these
and no
people
retirement.
and no retirement, and they're employing these people for $15-$20 an hour. So you can pay them $15-$20 an hour and stuff, so they can think they got a lot of money in their pocket, but they don't have any benefits.
That's right.
They don't have any health care stuff backing them up or whatever, and they have no power because these companies and stuff moved to the South because they were able to have these state governments to say, we are a right to work state. That
No
means
union.
that there's no union representation and stuff for these people in these plants. And every time some of them rise up and say, we want union representation,
You're fired.
the state government beats them down. Nissan has already had 2 votes and stuff in their plant in the last 3 years and stuff. 3 years, in the last 3 years, they had 2 votes to try to get a union and stuff in there. There are people and stuff in their plant and stuff who are getting sick, who are getting cancer because of the conditions that Nissan has put them under there right outside of, in Canton, Mississippi, right outside of Jackson. And they have all kinds of health problems going on in there.
And they happy to get those jobs.
They happy to get a job.
Yeah, they're happy to get those jobs, but to go through something like that where you don't have protection, you don't have OSHA there, you don't have all kinds of places where people are getting hurt or whatever. It's a whole lot of regulations that has to take place when you're dealing with power machines and all kind of chemicals and all that kind of stuff. So, a lot of people might say, oh, well, you got to go by this better. But there's a reason why, so that you can live.
Absolutely. And I'm telling you, all of them are moving down there. They just built a Porsche plant there in Atlanta. I guess they putting the finishing touches on the $2 billion plant that they putting in down there. Right outside of Birmingham, right there in Tuscaloosa area and stuff there. They have a Mercedes-Benz plant and stuff down there. And people are working and stuff in these plants. They are providing jobs and stuff for them and everything. But that's all they are providing. They're providing a job where they can make some money. But the other things that they need and stuff to live by is not there and stuff for them. So I'm back to my point. You're never going to get rich working for someone else. Create your own jobs, and there are plenty of different companies out there, small startup companies and stuff now, who are building themselves up, and they're becoming at a point where they can provide services and stuff and everything for these corporations and stuff. These companies and stuff who are outsourcing a lot of their stuff, like their work and stuff, buying, getting their supplies and stuff to these companies and stuff and everything. They need products and stuff that they can use to build these cars and stuff. So they're outsourcing this work and everything because they don't want the responsibilities and stuff for doing it. So there's a plethora of different things out there that you can deal with. You're talking about the healthcare industry and stuff. There are thousands of different jobs.
Oh, yeah. There's so many sectors out there where you can make money. You just got to find your passion.
You got to find that niche and get into that niche, and you should be able to make some money and stuff out of it because you control
and find a like type person that you can collaborate with or partner with. That's the main thing, because 2 brains is better than 1, 3 brains is better than 2. So,
Absolutely.
you know, and collaborate, and then you can put your funds together. It don't have to be a whole lot of money.
Absolutely.
But the thing is that that's the main thing in today's society. You just can't do like we did, work, you know, for corporations for 20, 30 years and then decide, you know, okay, I'm ready to retire and whatever. But the bottom line nowadays, you just can't do that because they have taken all the benefits away. They've done away with all that.
And then a lot of people and stuff like in Chrysler and Ford and stuff who worked all those 20, 30 years and stuff in their companies and stuff and everything because of how the company is now has structured themselves and everything. Some of those people who were coming out there and thought they had a lot of benefits and stuff don't have them. Because they're now telling them that, okay, since the healthcare costs have gone up, you're going to have to contribute more toward your healthcare. So instead of the money that you thought you had coming in, it's being reduced and stuff because of your healthcare costs that they are taking out of your benefits.
And see, and that's the game they're playing, you know, because number one, what should we have now? We should have really, what do they call it, Ed? I forget the name of it, but I know one thing for sure, that we should not have, we should have a health care just like the Medicare, you know, and that's what we should do. Single payer. That's what I'm thinking about. Single payer.
Yeah. Everybody has health care, no matter who you are. They're going to provide you with some health care. And there are countries out there and stuff, and they look at Bernie Sanders because he started talking about, well, we don't want a socialist state. Well, it's really not a socialist state. You just have a socialist type of program that's going on where you provide health care for your people and stuff out there. That everybody has a health care. Everybody has the same health care.
And here's the deal. That's going to relieve a lot of pressure from business people. That's the good thing about it. And I don't understand why they don't want to do it. You know, I know that lobby, that healthcare lobby is very strong, just like the pharmaceutical lobby and all these other lobbies. And so, because they got, you know, I don't know how many people they have, you know, in that industry, but, you know, they got, you know, millions of people in the industry, in the insurance industry. But the point is that, hey, I'm sorry, your job costs you making $75,000 or $150,000 is not that important when it comes to people's lives, you know. So therefore, find another profession or get into the profession and shuffle papers somewhere else. You might not be making as much money, but at least, you know, it'd be a whole lot of lives saved and a lot of people have a good quality of life.
Absolutely. And that's another thing that I was looking at with some of my grandchildren and stuff and everything. There's a niche out there. If you can provide these companies and stuff with a way where they can reduce their healthcare insurance and stuff, then they have you know, they can turn around and say, oh man, let me hire you to take care of my healthcare. And once you get that healthcare reduced and stuff, like we talk about healthy living styles or whatever that you and I were talking about every show that we have, you know, doing things and stuff in a healthy manner. Well, if you can put a program together and stuff within this company and stuff where you can help people who have diabetes and heart diseases and all this other stuff, and they are
Absolutely.
foods or whatever, and you taking over that portion and stuff of it and saying, okay, I'm gonna provide this company a service and stuff, and because you're providing a service, we can get your health care costs and stuff reduced down maybe 10 or 15%. We take the 5% and you saving another 5 or 10% and stuff on your health care costs, but you're making your worth for us healthy because you're doing some things. So there's a market and stuff there and stuff for it, and we need people out there who can exploit this market and do some things and stuff.
Absolutely, they come in as experts and they know all of them
making money.
Yeah, it's a way of making money. Absolutely. And you can charge them, you know, whatever 5% on whatever they save.
Whatever you save them.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, and then make their workforce a lot healthier, where they don't have to be off on sick leave and stuff all the time, where you got to pay somebody else to cover their jobs or whatever. There's a benefit to doing that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I totally agree with that. Yeah, one of the things that yesterday I was working out and I ran into this guy and we got into a conversation, and he was talking about, yeah, I don't understand it. You know, I got to pay $30,000 a year on healthcare. You know, and I said, that's pretty high right there. Now, you know, I can understand $1,500 a month, or even as, you know, like, you know, but he talking about $3,000 almost a month. So I'm saying to myself, you know, you got to show me proof on that, bro. You must have employees or something. Talking about he paying $30,000, you know, a year on healthcare, and he's talking about, and that's with high deductibles. I said, oh, really? I said, wow. I say that's you know, I didn't say this to him. I said, you must be making a lot of money because you paid $30,000 for healthcare alone. You know, that's a lot of money.
Well, I will need to enlighten you, Ted, that he may be telling you the truth. I got another article that's coming out talking about the high cost of healthcare and what people and stuff are paying now for healthcare. And some of them are paying close to $30,000 a year for healthcare. I got an article coming out now that this couple and stuff who are just retired and stuff, their healthcare bill is almost $22,000 a year. Seriously.
I'm trying to figure out how do they justify that when you might see the doctor twice.
That's if you want healthcare, that's what you're going to have to get. And that's what's going on.
That's insane. That is insane.
It is insane. But there's also an industry and stuff going on out there, Ted, to where you have people and stuff who are corporate folks and stuff and everything. They pay something like $45,000 or $50,000 a year for healthcare. But they have this company and stuff that provides this service and everything and stuff for them, to where they get, this is a Cadillac plan for them. So if they get sick, they go into the front of the line.
They get the best. They get the best.
They get the best.
Best doctors, everything.
And they pay it. They get the best doctors. They get the best thing. If they get sick, they can go to the doctor tomorrow. They just call these people up and everything. They call their doctors up and say, take them in tomorrow. They have companies out there and stuff who takes care of them. These people and stuff who are doing this have found a niche market that they are getting rich in.
Yeah. They're charging people $50,000, $45,000, $50,000 a year.
They don't
even hardly use
it. Spending that money.
No, because, you know, I mean, they're making $2 million or $3 million or whatever.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of them out there who are doing that. A lot of them out there who are doing that.
Well, we're gonna move on to two of our little other segments. We already went over the one over here, over there, for South Africa. Oh Lord! But one of them is our health. We're talking about health. Holistic health. And now I'm gonna reiterate, because of all the food that a lot of people have eaten, if you were so fortunate, fasting. And I think fasting, you know, and just drinking water, that sort of kind of flushes you out. And I think that there's something that I'm mentally preparing myself for the first of the month to fast, and just go on a water fast and no eating, and that's sort of kind of going to cleanse it. And one of the things that really helps, and that I think will help you, is lemon. If you do water with a lemon, and, you know, maybe an ounce or 2 ounces, and a lemon is one of the things that can really help you clean you out even faster. So that's my suggestion as far as the holistic health section. What you got, Ed?
I got with our healthcare that is coming on and stuff now. Next month, the first of next month, and everything is my annual physical, and I want to make sure that because of our past president, what he has did with the healthcare thing, that our yearly physical and stuff now are free, and I wanted to encourage anyone who is 50 or over, especially in our community, in the Black community, men especially, that they go and get their annual physical every year.
That's right.
Go and get it. I don't care what happened. I know I put it off some time for a little bit, but I have my doctor, and he takes care of me. He makes sure he's following up with me, and I see him every year and get my physical. Now, there are some bad things and stuff. Well, they're not bad, but there are some uncomfortable issues and stuff that are going on in my yearly physical. And my doctor has I try to talk him out of doing this uncomfortable thing and everything to me. But last year we got to the end of my talk with him and finding out everything about me and about the health issues that are going on, some of the new health things that are happening out there. About cancer, we talked about that for a little bit, and about my weight. He told me I had to get my weight and everything down, which doctors always tell you: lose weight, eat healthy, get exercise. They all tell you that. But we need to go no matter what. And I know I have a lot of my friends and stuff who don't like the exploratory thing that happens and stuff in your physical exam, but you have to do it and stuff to find out if there is any colon cancer or you are attending anything or whatever. And every 3 years and stuff, you all need a colonoscopy. And I just had mine in February of this year. Again, I get mine every 3 years because I've had two of my people of my family, my dad and my baby brother, died from cancer. So because of that, I can get my colonoscopy done and stuff every 3 years. But most people, they only suggest every 5 years and stuff once you get over 55. So get that physical exam, my brothers. Get out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's right. I'm slated myself in December to take my annual. So, and I usually do that. I've been doing that for years and years, and not missing a year. So, but another section that we deal with is the big connection, believing God connection. Now, my scripture today is Matthew, or I should say Mark 10:18. Work out your own salvation in fear and trembling. And to me, and when I read that scripture, it's telling me that I am responsible for my own salvation. Work out my own salvation. And salvation, to me, means rescue. Well, we know who rescues us is God. God rescues us. So the Bible said, draw near to God, he'll draw near to you. So the point is, and that word fear doesn't necessarily mean that you're afraid of God. It means that you're reverencing him. That's what that word really means, reverence and respect him. And trembling doesn't mean that you're all scared and nervous and what have you. It's just that you sort of kind of when you're in his presence, or you're talking to God, you might be afraid. But the point is that you should, if you got reverence for God and you're working it out, you should be kind of, because God is an awesome God. So therefore, you should work out your own salvation in fear and trembling. And along with that, look at what the word says as far as basically telling you to have character and morals. And, and one of the things, like last week I was talking about morality. And to me, morality is when, if you got character, you're going to be the same person in front of people, around people, when you're by yourself. That means if you're nice around other people, you should be nice and doing good things and the right thing when you're by yourself. You shouldn't be doing all kinds of things. So work out your own salvation in fear and trembling. And by that is reverencing God. What you got, Ed?
Okay, mine is from Psalms 147, the third verse. He healeth the broken in heart and bindeth up their wounds. And the reason why I thought about that one and what brought that on and stuff is that about 3 years ago, one of our children passed away. And my wife is still in mourning and stuff because of that. And she's still brokenhearted and stuff about that whole situation that happened and stuff with her daughter passing away, because no one wants to bury their child. It is the most egregious thing that you can have and stuff in your life and everything. But those things and stuff happen, and without her faith in God, I guess she wouldn't be where she's at now. She's mentally healthy, and she has accepted the fact that her daughter's going on, even though it hurts her every now and then when she thinks about her. And you and I both know, Ted, that a lot of our friends and stuff now have passed on, and they are not with us anymore. My baby brother is gone, and he is not with us anymore. And it's just, I think about him almost weekly and stuff. Every now and then, I think about him and how he was with us and everything. I think about our daughter and stuff who was not with us and everything and stuff.
Yes.
You know? So he heals that heart and stuff and everything. Don't and it's his will.
Yeah,
We
I
found
agree.
out later on that our daughter was suffering. She had brain tumor, and they uh, took a lot of her brain away from her and everything, and it created some problems and stuff for her and everything. And she was just suffering. Her vision and stuff was all messed up. She couldn't see, and she had spent 2 years and stuff doing it, walking around with her brain bouncing around. She was suffering.
Yeah,
So I guess God decided it was time to bring her on with Him. So anyway, I we've seen a lot of them this year and last year. A lot of our friends are gone, died from cancer, whatever, and I know their families and stuff are still grieving about them, and they still remember them. And all you out there in our world, those things happen. We look to the Lord to carry you through.
absolutely. I totally agree to that. And with that note,
Okay.
but we're winding down to the end of the program, and of course, we plan on being here next week. But we've been promising people that we're going to try to go on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We haven't set a time yet, but we're definitely sort of working on that and figuring out, because right now this is sort of kind of a busy season. Like Ed right now. Ed is out of town
Mm-hmm.
and what have you. But this is mobile. We can still work it out
Mm-hmm.
whenever we're out of town, because no matter where we are, we still can do our program. So
Absolutely.
once we set a program and we say we're going to do Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays, we're going to
Absolutely, people.
religiously do it every Tuesday, every Thursday, every Saturday.
Absolutely.
So, and then hopefully down the road we can even increase it on a daily basis.
Absolutely. And we want to make sure that our audience know that they can come out and check out our blogs and stuff. We're putting out articles and stuff out there on our blog every day. So every day you're going to find something new out there on our blogs, and we're hoping that you go and look on our Facebook page or go to our website, ted-edmoneyconnection.com, and check out our blogs and check out what we're doing about, we have a new page that's coming up about jobs. We have a new page that's coming up about careers and stuff, trying to talk to people about careers like we were talking about earlier, about starting your own jobs and everything, creating your own thing. So we're going to have some interesting articles and stuff out there telling people what industry that they might want to get into and how they can get into these niche markets and create their own thing that we have going on out there. If you go to their website, you'll see that page is still being constructed and stuff right now, but hopefully by December, when I get back to Atlanta, I will finish the page up and have it ready to go. So
Sounds great. Sounds great.
So we are out there, and we want to make sure that our audience know that we're here, and our library of videos and stuff now are getting larger and larger. And we just had 2 new subscribers that came on last week, Ted, to our Ted TV channel. I'm happy to see that. Yeah, with 2 of them. So,
Well, it'll happen when it happens, and I think as we get more, used to this type of programming, I think, I can see that we're moving a little faster on and on. So
Mhm.
everything is really falling into place. And
Oh, yeah.
because we read a lot and we do a lot of research, and so we want to express what's going on out there.
Absolutely. We want to fill that void in that you're not getting from NBC and ABC and all the other news class out there, even Fox News and Breitbart News, you know, those conservative news medias that you're talking about, Ted, down there in Florida. And I want to make sure that we miss something out, that there's something interesting going on there in Alabama and stuff and everything on the 12th of December.
Oh yeah,
there's a special election going on, you folks down there in Alabama and stuff. So you need to get out there and vote. It might be a big chance and stuff to get a Democratic senator and stuff there into for the first time in a long time there in Alabama. So we need to tell people that you need to get out there and vote. If you don't vote,
absolutely,
you don't get anything and stuff done.
Absolutely.
No voice. Okay, so
all right. Until next week, Ed.
Until next week, we'll see you and bye.